Hi, this is LB with the Dartmouth Student Wellness Center. This is day 4 of ReCentering, a 7-day yoga challenge. And today marks the halfway point of the challenge. So, congratulations, you've made it this far. Well done. With that said, we thought today's practice would be a really nice, opportune time to practice a resting day. So we'll still open class with a gentle flow just to warm up the body, and then we'll move into some deep restorative postures for some sweet release. When we can take some time to rest, to reset the body, the mind, the heart, it can make all the difference between burning out and feeling depleted versus continuing on and feeling engaged and energized. So we hope you enjoy the class. See you on the mat. We're going to start today's practice in child's pose. So, coming onto your knees in the middle of the mat, and then drawing at first your knees quite wide, big toes towards touching, and then letting the hips reach towards the heels. Now, at this point, if you're feeling some tenderness in the knees, you might want to draw them a little bit closer together, if not even touching. That'll give you a little bit more support. Or if you're feeling like you have more space and you want to get some more uh, downward movement in the hips, you can draw the knees even wider apart. And then from here, just allowing yourself to ease your belly between or on top of your legs. And then pausing so your head is floating. And so I want you to be supported, the head and everything. So for some of us, that might mean now stacking your fists on top of one another so that you can place your forehead on those fists. If you feel like you can lower your torso a little bit more, you might just place one hand on top of the other, creating a little pillow for your head. And if you have more space to work with, you might even find that the forehead wants to rest directly on the mat and the arms just comfortably framing your head, elbows bent. And so it's taking some time to really find the shape of this pose that works best for you today. So one that feels somewhat like rest, like you're giving up a lot of effort and a lot of body weight into the support of the earth. So finding a posture that you could feel like you're doing very little to maintain. And so as we move into this practice of rest, I invite you to make a clear intention of giving yourself permission to let go. That might be letting go of ambition of getting anywhere or achieving something. That might be letting go of the need for perfection or the need of doing. And bringing in the intention of being. From here, as you allow your hips to settle even more heavy, as you release any tension in the shoulders, the arms, the fingers, as you let the muscles of the face go lax, begin to gently deepen your breath, deepen your awareness of your breath. Perhaps even come into the Ujjayi breath, that deep, whispery breath with a 3 to 4 second inhale, followed by a 3 to 4 second exhale, both from the nose. Slight constriction of the throat muscle, so you create an ocean-like sound. Allowing this breath to bring some calm, to be a helpful reminder to continue to breathe, to continue to let go. And before we leave this posture, just see if you can get even 10% more heavier, 10% more supported, letting go 10% more. Maintaining that smooth, full breath. Invite you to inhale slowly, begin to help yourself up, taking as much time as you need. Exhale slowly, walking your hands back towards your hips. Inhale, closing the knees if they were apart. And inhale slowly, coming into tabletop position with wrists underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips, arms hugging towards one another, low belly slightly drawn in, back of the neck is long, gaze is looking down. And we'll open just with warming up the spine with some cat and cow flexion. So keeping with that inhale and beginning to link breath with movement, beginning to come into cow belly, letting the belly and the heart melt. The chin lift, the throat open, swaying the spine. And as you exhale, reversing that by scooping the tailbone down, arching the spine, dropping the head completely, feeling the shoulder blades stretch away from one another. And then inhaling back into cow belly. Exhale to cat. Inhale to cow belly. And exhale, last time here, into cat. We're going to pause here and really accentuate the curvature of your spine, really feeling the back of your heart lift, the crown of your head drop. Beautiful. And then slowly inhaling to a neutral spine. And then as you exhale, just floating the knees for a few moments, just to feel some wake up into the legs, the arms, the low belly. Breathing, letting the breath support as we warm up the body to prep for some sweet, deep releases. Taking one more breath here, inhale. And as you exhale, letting the hips reach towards the heels. And then slowly beginning to straighten the legs, coming into downward facing dog. Option here to keep the knees grounded and let the hips reach towards the heels while the armpits stay lifted. The ears are just floating between biceps as the head drops heavy. Always an option, especially in a resting class. But if you'd like the fuller stretch of that downward facing dog can provide, it might be nice to lift the knees and let the heels reach towards the ground, the hips reach towards the back of the room, the pits lifting even here as the heart melts, the head drops. And feeling a nice full body stretch. Again, supporting this posture, the shape with your breath. Inhaling, lengthening through the spine, letting the crown of the head drop. As you exhale, feeling the heels descend maybe a millimeter more towards the ground. And very slowly in your own way, begin to inhale, bend your knees. If you're in downward facing dog, look forward. And then slowly begin to walk your way, make your way to the front of the mat, coming into our first forward fold and letting this first one be quite passive, so knees bent pretty deeply. The spine and the head just rolling over the hips, crown of the head heavy, fingers even open on the mat or maybe hugging opposite elbows. Just letting your spine sway from side to side. Maybe shaking your head yes and no, back and forth. Inhaling and exhaling. And coming to some stillness if you're moving still. Inhale, pressing through all four corners of the feet to rise up halfway. And then exhaling, hands to your hips, drawing elbow points towards one another. Knees are still soft here, gaze still looking down. With a nice long spine, inhale yourself all the way up to a standing posture, mountain pose. Shoulders over hips, ears over shoulders. Strong and steady base, supple, long spine and crown of the head. Inhale, lift up through the arms. Let your gaze follow. Exhale, bending through the knees, folding all the way forward into that forward fold once again. Inhale, sweeping up halfway. Exhale and lowering, placing hands on the mat, stepping one foot and then the other back into high plank. Lowering knees to the ground, keeping that low belly engaged, keeping the back of the neck long. And as you bend your elbows, keeping them close into your ribs as you lower down. Straighten the legs, pressing through the tops of your feet. Inhale, pull your chest forward into cobra. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, once again, cobra, this time floating the hands, drawing the elbow points towards one another. With each inhale, feeling some lift. And as you exhale, letting everything come down, tucking your toes, pressing back into that low plank, keeping either knees on the ground, coming into puppy dog or downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. Find the shape of the pose in this posture that works best for you today. And bend your knees, look forward, walk your feet to the front of the mat. Inhale, sweeping up halfway lift. Exhale to lower. Inhale, bend your knees, sweep your arms behind you. Feel the weight now come more into the heels of your feet, drawing the energy towards the midline. Chest is open. Breath is supportive. And then inhale, float your arms shoulder height, palms face down. Inhale, press the air away from you, stand tall. Inhale, sweep the arms to the sky. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, sweep up halfway. And exhale to lower, hands to the ground, stepping back to that high plank. Exhale, lowering knees and letting yourself come all the way down to the mat. Pointing your toes, pressing to the tops of your feet. Inhale to cobra. Exhale and lower. Tucking your toes, inhale, press back to that plank with knees down. Exhale, either downward facing dog or puppy dog. 1 breath here. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, bend your knees, look forward, make your way to the front of the mat. Inhale, sweeping up halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, sweeping your arms, reverse swan dive all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, step your left foot back long, setting up for warrior 2. Nice long stance. From here, beginning to bend through your right knee, opening that right knee towards your 4th toe. Floating ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips, anchoring down through the outer edge of that left foot, the inner edge of your right foot. And then inhale, begin to shoot your arms out long, flipping the palms towards the sky, opening the chest. As much as we're reaching forward, we're reaching back. As much as there's weight in the front foot, there's weight in the back foot. Gaze looking out over your middle finger. Inhale to straighten. Exhale, warrior 2. One more time, inhale, reaching up. And exhale, hands to heart. Pivoting on your front foot, paralleling off both of your feet. And then beginning just to hinge yourself forward, coming into this forward fold. Fingertips can come to the mat, crown of the head hangs heavy. Pressing down through the outer edges of your feet, lifting through the hips. Weight is coming slightly forward, so we're not putting all of our weight into our heels. Knees are soft. Taking one more breath here. Inhale and exhale. Inhale slowly to rise up halfway. Exhaling, hands to hips. And then slowly rising all the way up to stand. Inhaling, hands to heart center, pivoting on your back foot, setting up for warrior two on this side. You might need to angle that back foot in ever so slightly. Inhale, bending through that left knee, tracking that knee towards the fourth toe, rooting down with the back foot, and then beginning to extend through both arms equally, flipping the palms, ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips, letting the support of your foundation give you rise through the torso, through the crown of the head, honoring your strength, supporting it with breath. And inhale slowly to rise up, arms overhead, and exhale, bending in once again. Inhale to lift. Exhale, hands to heart, pivoting that back foot now parallel to the foot, front foot. And now heel toe your feet out once so your feet are on an angle. And exhale, begin to bend your knees into this squat, Garuda Asana, letting hips be heavy, knees open again towards that fourth toe. And letting your arms now come into cactus pose. And just let everything sink down. But then again, with that sink down, there comes a lift through the crown of the head. Lift with the breath. One more full round of breath here. Inhale and exhale. And inhale to slowly straighten everything up, coming into star pose. Maybe look up, tiny little back bend. And then exhale, drawing hands to heart, pivoting both feet towards the front and drawing that back leg all the way in. Deep breath in, deep breath out. I'm going to step back to the middle of the mat. And we're just going to begin to work our way back onto our knees. Now that we've warmed up the body, we're going to come into some deeper restorative postures. And we're going to start with our wrists. We don't often give a lot of attention to our wrists, but they do a lot of work for us and they get used quite a lot. So to begin, just coming onto the tense, so the tips of your fingers, and just feeling the wrist supported by the hands. And then from here, place the back of your right hand onto the mat, the back of your left hand. And already you might feel quite a lot of sensation, quite a lot of that sweet release. And so you might just stay right here. If you want to play with it, begin to curl your fingers and your thumbs towards your wrists, and then opening and closing, breathing, and just becoming aware of the sensations you feel. And then letting them go flat. And then just beginning to let your heels or your hips reach towards your heels. And so drawing your arm bones back. And there might be some intensity of sensation. Don't go past your edge, but know that this is restorative for the wrists. And then gently begin to go back a little bit further as you roll your wrists up. And lifting the hands off the mat, flex your fingers back towards you. And then give some little wrists. And now you should be on your toes. And if you flattened your toes, I want you just to kind of hinge up forward and curl your toes under. And so we're now going to do the same sweet release for our toes as we did for our wrists. So again, this can be quite intense at first. So you don't need to put all your weight down, but if you can, hug the ankles towards one another, sit back with the heels, and draw forward with the toes, letting the weight stretch out the toes. Again, a place we don't give much attention to, but our toes, our feet do quite a lot of work for us. Breathing through any type of sensation. Taking one more breath, inhale and exhale. And then inhale forward onto your hands and lift your ankles up and just begin to turn your ankles, your toes in one direction and the other. And then cross your ankles and fall back on your hips and draw your legs out in front of you. So, coming into this staff pose to begin, which is already a pretty deep forward fold. We're just bringing shoulders over hips, pressing down through our legs and lifting up tall through the crown of the head, letting the chin be parallel to the ground. Our hands just resting on the mat next to our hips. And we gently draw our heart forward. Engaging in that Ujjayi breath, 3 to 4 second inhale, 3 to 4 second exhale. And as you're ready, inhale, begin to draw the right foot in towards the inner edge of your left thigh. So coming into a seated tree pose. So from here, we're going to begin just to hinge our chest so it's more squarely over our extended leg. And I always like for seated folds to move a little bit of my extra flesh out of the way if you have any in your sitting bones. That just gives me a little bit more base underneath to let my spine really be tall. And then from here, again, thinking about restful, not reaching anywhere or striving. So this might be as far as we go today. Again, we're already in this forward fold. For those of us that might have a little bit more space in the lower back to work with, you can begin to lead with the heart to hinge forward, and maybe you come down a millimeter, maybe an inch. But again, noticing that place where you start reaching and start wanting to struggle into the fold, and see if you can release that. Letting this be restful, supportive. Each inhale, the spine grows just like a telescope. Each exhale, you hinge forward. Maybe again, it might not even be noticeable, but you lead with the heart. We don't dump with the shoulders. And just let that pose, the breath, help evolve this pose. One more breath here. Inhale and exhale. Inhale slowly to rise up. Exhaling both feet in front of you. And just shake out the legs. And then now draw the left foot in, right leg extended out. Again, make any shifts with your weight so that you feel supported beneath your sitting bones. And begin to turn your chest so it's square over that extended leg. And this side might be completely different. So take your time as you come into this forward fold. You might be pausing here, breathing, feeling, resting, not reaching. Or a time you might notice with each breath that you get a little bit more space. With each exhale, some softening, which might mean some lowering happens. But without forcing it, just letting it to evolve naturally. One more breath. Inhale And exhale. Then inhale slowly to rise up. Exhale, left leg to meet right and give it another little shake. And then from here, staying in the middle of the mat, invite you to bend your knees, soles of the feet on the flat floor. Let your fingertips reach out long and slowly roll yourself down with control. Inhaling arms overhead. Exhale, drawing knees into your chest. And give yourself a little rock on your sacrum, one direction, the other. Then coming into stillness, let your left foot, sole of the foot, touch down with that left knee bent. And then cross the right ankle over the left knee, coming into reclined pigeon. Again, we have a lot of options here. So one, we might just pause here, flexing that right foot, drawing that right knee gently away from us. If you feel some release in the hip, stay right here, breathe, let go. If you want a little bit of a deeper stretch, you're welcome to lift the left foot off the ground, dive your right arm in that hole you've created, and interlace your fingers behind the left hamstring, letting the shoulders remain heavy against the mat. With a gentle flexion of that right foot, gently draw the right knee away from you. Again, thinking about release and letting go. Letting go of any unnecessary gripping or striving. At the end of your next exhale, if your fingers are clasped behind that leg, gently release them as you let the left sole of the foot find the ground. And interlace now your hands behind your right hamstring as you begin to draw the right heel towards the sky. But press the hamstring into the hands gently as you draw the shoulders back to the ground. Feeling that right heel draw up like a beautiful tree just reaching for the sun. Inhale. And as you exhale, release, let go, bend that right knee, and then open that knee gently towards your right armpit as you hug that knee in towards the right armpit, maybe even opening it slightly, letting that right elbow act as a kickstand for the leg, feeling a little groin stretch, a little release in the low back. Taking one more breath here, inhale and exhale. Then inhale that knee back through center, letting the right sole of the foot find the ground. And then inhale, begin to cross that left ankle over the right knee. Again, pausing here, noticing if there's enough sensation to work with right here that feels releasing, that feels like letting go. If you choose, you're welcome to deepen the stretch by drawing the left foot up, interlacing your fingers. Drawing the right foot up and interlacing your fingers behind the right hamstring. And noticing what might be different from side to side. Flexing that left foot gently as you draw the left knee away from you. Releasing any unnecessary gripping on this side, softening the shoulders and your jaw. Breathing in deeply and smoothly, perhaps listening for the sound of your breath. Last inhale here. Then exhale to release your hands if you have them interlaced. Let the right sole of the foot find the earth. Unhook the left ankle and hug the left knee in. And then let go of the left knee with your right hand as you gently open it towards your left armpit, hugging that knee in close and maybe even letting that left elbow act as a kickstand as you gently open that left knee towards the left, letting the right shoulder be as heavy as the left side, the right hip, releasing through the groin, through that outer left hip. Nice. And then inhale that knee back through center, interlacing your fingers behind the left hamstring. Now, as you grow that left heel towards the sky, pressing the left hamstring into the hands, softening your shoulders, releasing any gripping in the neck or the throat. And then slowly bending through that left knee, letting that left sole of the foot find the floor. Letting your palms open by your side and just letting your knees tick-tock from one side to another. And letting the knees, the feet come a little bit more closely to your bum. Feet still are hip distance apart, knees are hip distance apart, placing your palms down next to your hips. From here, pressing through the feet, inhale, gently lift the hips, lift the arms overhead. And exhale, lower the hips, lower the arms. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, lifting up, shoulders stay grounded, chin stays lifted. Last cycle here. Inhale, maybe those hips rise a little higher. And exhale, lowering everything down. From here, letting the arms come out like a T or like goalpost arms. And then just crossing your right foot over, or your right knee over your left knee. Heel toeing that left foot slightly more towards the middle of your mat or towards the right edge of your mat. As you let both knees now fall to the left. That gaze might look out over your right shoulder. Coming into this one of our final postures, this gentle spinal twist. Inhaling up the length of your body. Exhaling that right side of your shoulder down towards the mat. Releasing the weight of your legs. Releasing the weight of your arms. Then inhaling everything back towards center. Uncross your knees and recross the other direction. Heel toeing that right foot now towards the left side of your mat. Letting both knees fall towards the left. Letting your gaze look out over your left shoulder. And positioning your body so that your left shoulder is as grounded as the right. And then releasing the weight of your legs, the weight of your arms, letting the breath be full, smooth, and deep. Allowing yourself to let go, to release. Nice. And then as you're ready, inhaling the knees back through the center, uncross your feet and hug your knees in and come into a tight little hug, lifting your forehead towards the knees, coming into like a little seed, into seed pose. Then exhale to release everything down, inner edges of your feet touching. And then begin to just open your knees so the soles of your feet join. Palms of your hands open towards the sky, about 2 feet or so from your hips. Shoulders are heavy. Back of the head is supported. Breath is smooth and deep, but not so much controlled at this point. Just letting it be a support, letting it help you release deeper into this posture. Now you're welcome to stay here in this posture for the remainder of our class. But if you'd like to extend your legs and come into full Shavasana, that's also a nice option. So again, coming into a shape that elicits rest, that lets go of ambition, that allows you to let go. And allow yourself to be supported fully and completely by the ground beneath you. And I'll offer a poem by Dana Falds up for our Shavasana called Just for Now. Just for now, without asking how, let yourself sink into stillness. Just for now, lay down the weight you so patiently bear upon your shoulders. Feel the earth receive you and the infinite expanse of the sky grow even wider as your awareness reaches up to meet it. Just for now, allow the wave of breath to enliven your experience. Breathe out whatever blocks you from the truth. Just for now, be boundless, free with awakened energy tingling in your hands and feet. Drink in the possibility of being who and what you really are. So fully alive that the world looks different, newly born and vibrant, just for now. So you're welcome to stay in this resting posture for as long as you have time for. But when it feels complete for you, I invite you to slowly deepen your breath and begin to reawaken through the body. And then slowly hug your knees into your chest and make your way up to a comfortable seated posture. Again, it could be now or several minutes from now. And if you're joining me now, placing your hands in front of your heart center as a gesture of self-awareness and a gesture of completion for this practice of rest and renewal. Knowing that you can take some time whenever you need to come home to yourself, to breathe, to feel a sense of renewal, so that you can continue doing the good work that you are. And from my heart to yours, namaste.